No cash in, but we did get a major title change, and that's just the final segment. These are my assorted thoughts on the really stacked June 9th, 2025 WWE RAW. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. I'm recording this Tuesday, June 10th. It's just before 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, this was a huge episode of Raw. A lot happened even before the main event. But of course, we have to start with the main event because, yes, there is a new World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General Gunther, the former champion. Jey Uso's reign ended before started at WrestleMania, ended before SummerSlam. I mean, it was maybe a little shorter than I thought it would be, but I didn't think this was going to be a super long reign. I thought it might last till SummerSlam. I also thought there might be a cash-in, and there wasn't. Now, this match, though, this was a really good match, a really a well thought out match, amazing storytelling in this match, physical storytelling. Basically, they're telling the story that Jey Uso was wrestling was involved in a match last Monday, also a run-in, got put out. He was involved on, I don't know if he did something on, yeah, he did. He definitely was attacked on Friday on Smackdown. He had that major match where Logan Paul laid him out with an acai moonsault. They made a very important point. It was when the cameras are rolling at Money in the Bank that Jey Uso did not get up until the cameras stopped rolling. And they even mentioned on commentary that, Gunther is looking at this match and smiling. And Gunther was smiling in this match, especially when he realized Jey Uso's ribs are taped when Uso's shirt came off. You could just see the smile on Gunther's face. And he definitely went after Uso for that. There was some interesting. Jey started off trying to do the sleeper hold to try and get Gunther the tap out right at the beginning. Didn't happen. Gunther even did a spear. I don't think I've seen Gunther do a spear before, but that's like Jey's move. I guess Jey took his moves. He's going to take Jey's moves. And it was very dramatic. Of course, it ended with like a sleeper exchange. Well, basically, yeah, reversing into other sleepers for a few minutes. And ultimately, Jey just passed out. He came down with his son, which you don't usually see him coming down with somebody. I think he's had his son down a few times, but he came down with his son. Don't bring your family members out when you're fighting Gunther. You might lose. Sami Zayn was smart to keep Gunther, to keep his kid backstage at WrestleMania when he beat Gunther. And I don't know if that applies to Jimmy Uso, but yeah, don't even bring Jimmy Uso out when you're fighting Gunther. Seriously, though, this was top tier storytelling and also really surprising. I was thinking, okay, fine. Jey might lose the championship, but they're not going to put it back on Gunther because then Seth Rollins is going to have to go after Gunther. I thought Rollins and crew were going to come in when Jey was almost defeated, cause a disqualification, and then try and cash in, maybe succeed, or maybe Gunther might get up and try and stop it, or somebody else might, I don't know, Punk was there, maybe someone come and stop the cash in, either before it becomes official, or making it an unsuccessful cash in. That's how I was so sure. Okay, when's the interference going to happen? No. Jey's about to lose clean here. And nope, Gunther won. That surprised me, but honestly, that was a really dramatic, well-executed, well-thought-out end to the show. And now we have Gunther as World Heavyweight Champion again. That really changes the dynamic. But of course, the show started off with a bang. Go right to the beginning. We had John Cena sucks, telling the crowd that basically hating on the audience for bringing back a comedy, a comic relief player or something. And then, by the way, he ran down his dates. There's 19 left. I think I read an article somewhere that the show in Montreal, the Smackdown right after SummerSlam, is one of Cena's dates. I hope that's true because I'd love to sing John Cena sucks, or maybe you'll change by that. Anyway, CM Punk comes down. Punk cut a classic great babyface promo, the iconoclast, that. And I was like, okay, yes, they're going to set up a match. And I was really hoping that they were going to have a match at SummerSlam. I think that's an amazing main event for one of the nights at SummerSlam. Also, when CM Punk was denied his WrestleMania main event, it was against Cena, or it would have been against Cena in MetLife Stadium where SummerSlam is. So I thought it would be poetry to have it in MetLife Stadium. But no, John Cena said, you got to follow me to Saudi Arabia. That's a real heel move, especially if you know CM Punk's out of character reputation on social media and what he's said in the past about WWE going to Saudi Arabia. So yeah, Punk is going to go to Saudi Arabia. It was going to happen eventually. I thought it would be the Royal Rumble. And I kind of think that means that maybe Punk's not going to win, because I can't really see Cena not being the champ at SummerSlam. Who knows? Maybe he'll get like a rematch or something like that. I don't know. Still, excellent, important segment to start off the show. I wished it was SummerSlam, but we are getting Punk and Cena, which we knew we had to get. That's going to be a hell of a match. I am going to be glued to that match, and I'm going to be cheering for CM Punk, even if it means that he's going to have to face my favorite in the King of the Ring tournament. But we'll put that aside for now. CM Punk also told the crowd, you want the truth, you called for the truth, you get Ron Killings. And yeah, we got Ron Killings again. Wow, I was wondering how he was going to, use, because I know he wants to use his new name in case he gets released again, or in case his contract eventually ends again, doesn't get renewed. Then he's established his own name, which he can use on the indies on TV. But like, I also remember at Money in the Bank, it looked kind of like he was different. He seemed more serious than the usual R-Truth. I mean, he did a run-in on John Cena. That's obviously much, and he wasn't doing the old character at all. And yeah, he basically not only adopted the new name, he shed the old character. He's now Ron Killings, or Ron the Truth Killings. He's definitely using truth, but he's just not R-Truth. And he cut his hair. Like, I was not expecting his braids. He chopped. I was not expecting that. I think the crowd was not really sure how to take it. They were like, yay, Truth back. I even heard a few what chants, but then I think he shut those down right away. And then holy shit chants when he chopped off his hair. And he's like, I am Ron Killings. He's ended with put some respect on my name. Now, 53-year-old Ron Killings, formerly for years, over a decade, a top comedic player as R-Truth, is now going to be a serious force to be reckoned with. I don't think they're going to put him back with Cena right away. That might be the ultimate goal. Maybe he's going to have some feuds. I don't know, but I'm actually really interested to see. He's already changed his character. Now let's see how he changes his game, maybe his in-ring game. But what an incredible way to essentially debut a new character and debut a new person of the roster who's been there for over a decade. Okay, let's go on to the Queen of the Ring qualifier. Roxanne Perez won. Spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen the show, I don't know where you're watching this. This is not a recap. This is a assorted thoughts. Anyways, Roxanne won a very sneaky way that Liv Morgan can't really say that she screwed Liv Morgan because she didn't pin Liv. I was wondering how Rhea was not going to win. Of course, it was through shenanigans. Roxanne pulled her out. Kairi Sane dropped both of them, and then dropped the insane elbow on Liv, and it looked like she was going to win. But then Roxanne comes in, rolls up Kairi, 1, 2, 3. Roxanne wins. They continued that later in the evening, later in the night with the whole backstage of the Judgment Day Clubhouse. And Liv came out really angry, took her frustrations out on Nikki Bella, who was returning, who's definitely going to be at Evolution. I thought this was a really, it was kind of corny. It was like that, Liv was going to say, I'm a champion, I'm respected, and I have a man. We'll dig at Nikki Bella there, but obviously that was going to bring up the whole Roxanne situation, and that looked like a really good oblivion that Liv gave to Nikki Bella. Now, Liv is one of the tag team champions. At Evolution, I'm sure Liv Morgan's going to be there. I'm sure she's somehow going to be involved in a match with Nikki Bella. They clearly were setting that up. But wouldn't it make sense for it to be a tag team match, maybe for the Women's Tag Team Championships? Now, I don't know what Brie Bella's situation is, if she's able to come back or she wants to come back or what have you. If she does, then it's the Bella twins against Liv and Raquel for the titles. If not, maybe Nikki could find another partner. I've heard Rhea Ripley suggested. That might be a little overpowered, but that could be great. Maybe Stephanie Vacker, something. I'm not really sure, but I definitely think we're going to get a women's tag team title match involving Nikki Bella and obviously Liv and Raquel at Evolution 2. And that sounds great. Back in the Judgment Day clubhouse, Dom's looking a bit squeamish, of course, because of the whole Roxanne Liv situation. But he comes out for his King of the Ring qualifying match. We have, it's him, Penta, Braun Breaker, and my always pick, Sami Zayn, especially for King of the Ring. It's at Night of Champions in Saudi, and Sami's loved there. Match was really well thought out. Again, another one well put together, like the women's match, like the main event. It was smart in how they. I was wondering. I was like, okay, I don't think they're going to have Braun Breaker win this because, yeah, I think maybe he's going to turn babyface and challenge Seth, or he's going to win another title somehow and maybe fight, I don't know, Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania, something like. But I couldn't really see Braun Breaker advancing in this tournament. But I didn't know how they were going to have him lose. And it was smart. They brought back something for Money in the Bank out of nowhere. LA, he takes out Penta with his spear. The match was really good up until that point. A lot of back and forth. A lot of Sami even got a Blue Thunder Bomb. I kept wanting him. I was like, come on, you could beat you could beat Penta with a Blue Thunder Bomb. Maybe you can't beat Braun Breaker with it, but no, he didn't win with the Blue Thunder Bomb. But yeah, a lot of back and forth until Braun does his run around the ring, takes out Penta, but here comes LA Knight. It's the BFT. Sami's in the ring with Dom. Exploder suplex. Haluva kick. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Sami Zayn is going to the semifinals for King of the Ring. I hope he's going to win. Okay, so you know what? We're talking about King and Queen of the Ring. I'm going to put on my glasses and let's pull up the brackets. Let's look at this. It's by the way, it's very interesting. They're doing 4 fatal 4-way matches, and then we're in the semifinals already. I think that's pretty smart. Okay, so let's start with Queen of the Ring. Roxanne Perez is already in there. The next bracket, she's going to face the winner of Jade Cargill, Michin, Piper Niven, and Nia Jax. Now, on the other side, we have Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Candice LeRae in one match. And the other match, we have the returning Asuka, Stephanie Vacker, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile. Very interesting. I mean, I'm thinking Jade Cargill is going to probably win the match on SmackDown, fight Roxanne, which is, it's kind of weird. They're not doing Raw. It's funny, the semifinals isn't Raw versus Raw and SmackDown versus SmackDown. It's Raw versus SmackDown and Raw versus SmackDown. Maybe that's for a reason. I don't know. Maybe I think if Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss cancel each other out, we get Chelsea Green. Candice LeRae takes the pin. Asuka's obviously not taking the pin, but I don't know if she's going to win. Maybe Stephanie? Not sure. Okay. So King of the Ring. So Sami Zayn's already in the semifinals. He's going to face the winner of Randy Orton, LA Knight, Aleister Black, and Carmelo Hayes. Now, I want Sami going all the way and winning. So I love Randy Orton, but I'm hoping it's not him. Maybe, I don't know who takes who out, but maybe Carmelo Hayes ends up winning that one. Someone, I don't think, maybe LA Knight, but I think I want Sami to be the clear favorite in that one. So I think maybe Aleister or Carmelo Hayes should win that one. Obviously, Randy gets screwed over and LA Knight screwed over too. Although LA Knight helped out Sami, I guess Sami won't. Maybe Sami helps him out and then faces him. Who knows? Then it gets interesting. We have Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the likely winner is Cody, but that means maybe Sami's not going to win. Then we have Sheamus, Rusev, Big Bronson Reed, and a mystery person to be picked by Adam Pearce. Now, Who could this mystery person be? My brother Joe, who I was watching Raw with, thought it would be Joe Hendry. That could be very interesting. I've heard Mr. Iguana mentioned. Maybe I don't think he's going to win, but that could be fun. They seem to want to somehow bring him not just to NXT, but I think the main roster. I think he might show up on NXT. I don't know before that. But after what happened on Raw, at the end of Raw, it might just be Jey Uso. But then we could have Jey Uso versus Cody, and then the winner of that versus Sami. So it's getting very interesting, but I'm sure those guys could have friendly competition. This is a really interesting tournament, both for the men and for the women. I'm going to probably do a prediction video, at least when we get to the semifinals, if not for the actual event. But yeah, this is really fascinating, and this is a huge development that started on this week's Raw. There was also a bit that happened during the commercial break with Karrion Kross once again talking to Sami Zayn, but this time he's like, look, you're following my advice. When Sami's like, no, I'm not following your advice. You can see that clip on social media if you watch the version with commercials, or you didn't watch it live and it skipped through it. But not sure what they're doing with Karrion Kross. Maybe there'll be a match with Sami Zayn at some point before he gets his championship match. I'm assuming he's going to get the championship match at King of the Ring, Night of Champions. But I don't know if wishes were horses. We'll see where we go with that. And of course, the first match of the night was AJ Styles versus Chad Gable, having lost in a Money in the Bank qualifier match against Chad Gable, aka El Grande Americano. This time AJ picked up the win, but Chad was showing, his soreness from doing two matches. But I know Wade Barrett was trying to pass it off as injury from the match with Vikingo, but clearly it was from the two matches, including the one as El Grande Americano. Also, Gable seems to always win maybe not like a multi-person ladder match, but he usually wins as El Grande and he loses as Chad Gable. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to see where we go with that one. And a little side note, we did see Seth Rollins and his crew at the beginning, but aside from Braun Breaker being in the match in the backstage segment, we didn't see Seth throughout the night. There wasn't a cash-in. It was just to show that he was there to create the mystery that there might be a cash-in. So I'm really wondering where Seth is going to go now. Does he really want to try and cash in on Gunther? I mean, I guess with his crew, they could beat him down or something and cash in that way, but it seems a lot easier to cash in on, would have been a lot easier to cash in on Jey Uso, even though he already has his backup. Anyways, we'll see where we go from there. And these were my assorted thoughts on the June 9th, 2025 WWE RAW. Did you agree with my takes? Some, all, maybe, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram, and jasoncmclean.bsky.social on Bluesky. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, WWE Premium Live Event prediction and review videos, and of course, assorted thoughts on Smackdown and RAW. Things are getting back to normal, at least a little bit. And I'm trying to record these a bit different, more stream of consciousness and putting on the images later. I should probably be launching a Patreon soon to make money for an editor, because the images and all that stuff, that's what really takes time with these videos. Get back on track, though. Until next time, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.